January always feels like a month of starts and endings. And even though I don't really believe we need a new year to begin or end something, there is something about January that feels like a symbolic pause. A moment to finish things or start things. Things that aren't necessarily material things. So while I was thinking about what kind of videos I want to share here on YouTube for 2026, I thought it would be nice to start documenting each month through the things I'm grateful for. From very literal, tangible, mundane things to the more fleeting, feeling earnest kind of things. I wanted to end January and start February by looking back at what made January feel a little extra. These monthly favorites will probably evolve around me being an illustrator and a maker, so expect art supplies, stationery, journaling, books, especially picture books, learnings as an illustrator, films, and other media I consume, INFP thoughts, very ordinary things, and basically anything I saw, heard, or felt that left an imprint on me that month. So let's start. Number 1 is finishing a sketchbook and starting a new one. Finishing a sketchbook feels really good, and honestly, it's been a while. I have this tendency to buy a new sketchbook before I finish one, so I have several empty, unfinished, or permanently work-in-progress sketchbooks. If you can relate, please leave a notebook emoji in the comments so I don't feel so alone in my sketchbook hoarding. This one is the Art Talent sketchbook in a small square format. I think the size really helped. I was more willing to fill the pages. But even then, I was still very precious with it at the beginning, like I usually am with new art supplies. Seeing it now, filled with ugly pages, imperfect pages, and a few I can't believe I did that pages, feels incredibly fulfilling. Like journaling or planning, this sketchbook holds stories of trying, learning, hesitation, and that familiar scarcity mindset of, what if I run out of supplies? It's kind of a behemoth of feelings. But finishing it and starting a new one is slowly teaching me the joy of daily practice, of filling pages in any sketchbook, not just the quote-unquote perfect one. And even decorating the cover of my new sketchbook gave me decision paralysis, but in a fun way. I made these stickers when I was experimenting with sticker sheets, and the illustrations are from my Peachtober last 2022. If you want a full sketchbook tour of this yellow sketchbook, let me know in the comments. Second, 31 days of journaling in my Hobonichi. I completed 31 days of daily journaling in my Hobonichi techo, and I really want to remember this feeling. Most of my days are routines. They're not particularly interesting in the grand scheme of things, but intentionally looking for something extra in the ordinary, even if it's just for me, and recording it each day keeps my days from blending into one long blur. Sometimes journaling makes me question my existence more, especially on very ordinary days when I wonder what I'm actually contributing to the world. But documenting these days also makes me look at my life more closely and makes my next days feel more intentional. Third, watercolors and creating more than I consume. I'll admit it, I'm guilty of consumerism, especially when it comes to art supplies and books. And with that comes the pressure to use them, not just hoard them. This year, I really want to create more than I consume or buy. If you've made it this far into the video, leave a shopping cart emoji in the comments to help keep me accountable. For January, I added 3 watercolor palettes to my stash, 2 from Rosa Gallery and 1 from Arigato. These are special palettes. One is all monopigmented, one is all granulating, and one is handmade. I've swatched them, and honestly, every time brush meets paper, I gasp. Yes, I can be overly dramatic when it comes to paints. The Rosa Gallery paints are highly pigmented and reasonably priced for professional grade watercolors. Right now, I'm especially captivated by granulating watercolors, even though I don't fully know how I'll use them in my illustrations yet. I think this is where play, experimentation, and sketchbooking really come in. The Arigato palette feels like a luxury, and I keep reminding myself that I'm allowed to own beautiful things and that I'm worth it. Which colors are your favorites?
I am strolling along, just minding my business, humming a song. I'm happy by myself, not a care in the world. This is a life, just me, myself, and I. I am watching the clouds up in the sky, all but laughing out loud. I'm telling you why I'm living the life, just me, myself, and I. I used to think that life was cold and lonely. When you up and left me, sadness overwhelmed. And for me, I am out and about, painting the town red. I'm coming around. There ain't no doubt about it, I'm no longer blue. So glad we are through, just me, myself, and I. Cried, I thought I'd die without you. Those tears are gone, no, I don't even care about you. I'm happy again, life is a blessing if I think of you. Ain't a thing that I've been missing, I'm here on my own, just singing this song. Now that you're gone, I'm happy alone, just me, myself, and I.
Fourth, joining #BirdFest. I joined several days of Bird Fest, an illustration challenge on Instagram. I loved researching each bird prompt and learning what makes each bird weird, special, and interesting. I wrote about each bird on my Instagram feed, and during the process, researching, learning, deciding how to illustrate them, I found myself wide-eyed and almost giddy. I wasn't prepared to be this interested in bird species. That feeling of unexpected curiosity became one of my favorite feelings this month. And the first bird prompt I painted was also my very first illustration of the year.
When did dreams give way to plans? Wonder slip through our hands. Just hold up, just hold up. Way back now, I watched him in the yard and wonder how the world still feels that wide. Skinned knees and open skies, no fear behind their eyes.
Fifth is reading Big Magic. I finally started reading Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This book has been on my TBR for the longest time, and I decided January was the right moment. And maybe the universe conspired a little because the book feels incredibly aligned with where I am right now as a picture book illustrator. It even mentions the word earnest, which is my word for the year. I chose my word before reading the book, so I'll call that fate. I often find myself smiling or quietly smirking at certain passages. I'm close to finishing it and excited to read more books about creativity, which really is just part of being human. Sixth, The New Yorker at 100. I watched The New Yorker at 100 documentary and I found it fascinating. As someone who follows illustrators who've created New Yorker covers, the dream, I loved seeing the behind the scenes process, the history and storytelling behind each cover. I'm not an editorial illustrator, but let me dream a little. Maybe my illustrations could pass as a New Yorker cover one day. I'm especially interested in how their cartoonists come up with both illustrations and captions. That combination of image and text really intrigues me. Seventh, meeting Oliver Jeffers again. Meeting Oliver Jeffers for the third time was easily the highlight of the month. Being in the same room as a person whose work inspired my picture book illustration journey still feels surreal. The Heart in the Bottle was the match that lit the fire for me through a Maria Popova article that led me deeper into picture book storytelling. So meeting him always feels surreal.
It looks bigger, but there were lots of us on here. At the time of making this book, there was 7.3 billion. I think it's 8 billion now. So be kind. Technically, there is enough for everyone. Just gotta share it.
I also finally had my unsigned Oliver Jeffers books signed, including this book about him by Martin Salisbury. He always adds a little illustration when he signs, which makes each book feel extra special. And yes, my introverted, awkward self was very much present. I never know what to say in those moments. I also met Abir, someone I follow in Instagram, and she was kind enough to chat with us for a while. Let's add something fashion related. My Arigato Bird shoes. These shoes with the embroidered bird have been on my radar for years. I never really expected I'd own a pair, but they were a gift, so why not? Honestly, it's the embroidered bird that makes them a favorite. Ninth is the Tigal sharpener. This one is very simple and very mundane, but worth mentioning. The Tigal sharpener has been recommended by illustrators I follow, and after trying it, I think it comes pretty close to being the sharpener. Small thing, big satisfaction. And lastly, a man on the inside. This was just a fun, relaxing watch. Sometimes that's all something needs to be. That's everything for January. I like the idea of closing each month this way, just pausing long enough to notice what shaped it, even in small ways. If you are doing something similar in your own life, I hope this felt like quiet company. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you again soon.